Will your bike survive 100,000 miles? Most won't. In fact, the average motorcycle lifespan in the US is just under 37,000 miles. Why? It's not poor design, it's poor habits. I'm about to break down the 10 silent killers that are destroying your bike way before it's time. Habit number 1. Riding with dirty air filters. You wouldn't wear a soaked mask to run a marathon. Don't make your engine breathe through one. Dirty air filters reduce airflow, richen your fuel mixture, and increase carbon buildup. Dyno runs from MC Garage show up to a 15% horsepower drop with a clogged filter. Worse, that dirty air lets grit into the engine, scoring pistons and valves. Some riders think foam filters last forever if you don't ride off-road. False. Clean or replace them at least every 12,000 miles, more often in dusty areas. Your engine will run cooler, cleaner, and a whole lot longer. Number 2. Revving hard before your engine's warm. This one destroys engines silently. Cold starts mean thick oil, and until your engine hits operating temperature, internal tolerances aren't ideal. Engineers at Kawasaki warn that redlining a cold engine increases cylinder wall wear dramatically. In one dyno test, cold revving shortened piston ring life by up to 40%. So don't just fire up and go full throttle. Let it idle for 30 seconds, then ride gently for the first few miles. Think of it like this. Would you sprint cold out of bed in the morning? Neither should your engine. Number 3. Riding at low RPMs constantly. Sounds harmless, right? Turns out, lugging your engine, riding in a high gear at low speed, builds massive internal strain. Your engine knocks, your oil pressure drops, and carbon starts to build in the combustion chamber. BMW tech bulletins even cite low RPM lugging as a contributor to valve and piston damage. Especially on liquid-cooled bikes, this is often mistaken for easy riding. It's not. You want to ride in the meat of your torque band, usually 4,000 to 6,000 RPM depending on the bike. Smooth power is healthy power. Lugging is a slow death. Number 4. Neglecting your coolant. Most riders treat coolant like it's an afterthought until their head gasket fails. But here's the thing. Coolant not only regulates temperature, it also prevents corrosion inside your engine. Aluminum parts, especially heads and radiators, can pit and corrode without fresh antifreeze. Most OEMs recommend flushing every 2 years or 24,000 miles, whichever comes first. But if you ride hard or in hot weather, flush it more often. I once saw a Ducati come in with brown sludge in the radiator. Turns out it hadn't been flushed in 5 years. The owner thought coolant lasts forever. His warped cylinder head proved otherwise. Number 5. Letting your battery sit too long. You might not think of this as a bike killer, but neglect your battery and you'll start burning out your charging system. When a battery gets weak, your stator and regulator/rectifier have to work overtime to compensate. Eventually, they overheat and fail. I've seen low-mileage bikes totaled over a fried charging system. And get this. Batteries start sulfating within 30 days of inactivity. Keep it on a smart tender, especially in winter. That $30 charger can save you hundreds down the road. Plus, it's one less surprise on your next ride. Number 6. Overloading the bike. Sounds obvious, but here's the kicker. Most people don't even realize when they're doing it. The average bike has a GVWR, gross vehicle weight rating, of 400 to 500 pounds, including rider, gear, and luggage. Load it past that, and you start stressing your suspension, frame welds, even wheel bearings. I've seen swing arms crack, shocks blow out, and tires delaminate, all because of constant overloading. And don't forget passenger weight. If your bike's not set up for 2-up riding, it's not just uncomfortable, it's damaging. Check your manual, weigh your gear. If your saddlebags sag like they're holding bricks, they probably are. Quick reminder before we hit the final 4 habits. If you're finding this helpful, hit that subscribe button. We break down the real facts and hard truths every rider needs to know. No fluff, no fake drama. All right, back to it. Number 7. Skipping oil changes, or doing them wrong. You already know oil is the lifeblood of your engine. But what most riders don't realize is how quickly that oil degrades, especially in hot climates or during aggressive riding. Manufacturers like Yamaha and Honda both recommend oil changes every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. But if you're doing a lot of city riding or your engine runs hot, you may need to change it sooner. One teardown analysis from Revzilla showed visible scoring and sludge in engines that ran past 6,000 miles without fresh oil. And don't cheap out on filters either. A $10 filter can prevent a $3,000 rebuild. Want to hit six figures on the odometer? Oil is the first line of defense. Number 8. Ignoring chain maintenance. You'd be shocked how many riders do this. A dry, loose, or misaligned chain puts stress on the entire drivetrain, especially your sprockets and output shaft. Chain tension should be checked every 500 miles and lubricated every 300 to 600, depending on conditions. Honda service bulletins even show how poor chain care leads to premature gearbox wear. And yes, O-ring chains need love too. I knew a rider who swore his chain was self-cleaning, until it snapped at 70 miles per hour and cracked his engine case. Clean it, lube it, and keep that tension in spec. It's simple, and it'll add years to your transmission. Number 9. Letting small problems slide. It starts with a tiny leak, a little ticking sound, maybe a slight vibration at certain RPMs. You ignore it, ride anyway, but that's how major failures are born. According to a 2023 study by Allstate Motorcycle Claims, over 60% of major mechanical issues began as minor, ignored symptoms. A weeping gasket becomes an oil-starved cylinder. A ticking valve becomes a dropped valve head. I saw a guy ride 1,000 miles with a cracked exhaust manifold, thinking it was just a rattle. Ended up warping his head and torching his catalytic converter. Always investigate odd sounds, smells, or behavior. Little problems don't stay little on a motorcycle. Number 10. Riding like your tires are invincible. This one's a silent killer, literally. Most riders think they're good as long as there's tread left, but tires degrade with age, exposure, and heat cycles. Once the rubber gets hard, it stops gripping properly and transmits more shock to your suspension and frame. That stress travels up. Wheel bearings, fork seals, swing arm bushings, even your subframe bolts can start loosening. Plus, old or cupped tires throw off your balance, which causes the engine and chassis to constantly compensate. Dunlop and Michelin both recommend replacing motorcycle tires every 5 to 6 years, regardless of mileage. And if your tires got more than 8,000 miles on it, check the wear indicators now. Don't wait for a blowout. Or worse, a bent rim from hitting a pothole you used to roll over just fine. Bonus habit: riding short distances only. This one sounds harmless, but over time, it's death by condensation. When you only ride your motorcycle for 2 to 5 mile trips, your engine never gets hot enough to burn off moisture in the oil. That water builds up, causes sludge, and corrodes your internals. Harley-Davidson techs have shown how short trip riders often end up with chocolate milk-colored oil within 1,500 miles. If most of your riding is under 10 minutes, take a longer ride once a week, at least 20 to 30 minutes, to fully heat cycle the engine and clear out that moisture. Your motor will thank you. How long can a motorcycle actually last? If you stop doing these 10 things, most modern motorcycles can easily go beyond 100,000 miles. In fact, riders have hit 400,000 plus miles. On Honda ST1100s, 300,000 plus miles on BMW R1200 GS models, and over 1 million miles on a 1975 Goldwing owned by a Wisconsin man named Roy Neves. But here's the catch. All those riders had one thing in common: disciplined maintenance. Oil changes were logged. Valves were checked. Problems were fixed immediately, not next weekend. You don't need to be a mechanic, but you do need to ride like you plan to keep your bike forever.